exercises can be done without equipment. So, not to worry if you don't have the equipment. And we're going to start out with some stretch, and then we are going to use the wands while we're standing. So let's go ahead and working on the upper body, taking some deep breaths because this will stretch your rib cage and really help with breathing. And backward arm circle on one side, backward on the other side. Let's bring the hands in here and follow your hand. Twist back and forward. Let your hips twist also. Back. Each side again, that twist, forward, and a twist, forward. Let's reach up. Let your hips move so you get more stretching, warming up the low back. And then stretching up, reach behind your head. Up, arms to the sides. We're going to lean, reach up, center, lean, reach to the ceiling, and center. Let's bring the arms in, out, pull the elbows back, touch in the front, and pull back. And then we'll get more active. We're going to do like a rowing motion with the kick. So we kick and we kick. If it's a little much, you could do knee lift instead. A little more effort with the straight leg, but pulling the elbows back, very good for the upper back. And a few more of these. Big backward arm circle. And let's go to our stomp. And let's do twice on each leg. A little faster like that. And we'll go to a jog. Now we're doing all those things that put impacts into the legs and the hips. Let's do high knees. So getting a little more impact with the high knees. And then with the heel kick. So getting the back of the legs with that. Yeah, let's take a breath in. A breath out. And a big backward arm circle. And circle the shoulders back. And we'll stomp, stomp, stomp. If you want to do a hop, stomp, 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 hop, stomp, 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 and hop. Or let's try stomp, 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 and then drop on the heels. Stomp, 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 drop. So two options, the drop or the hop. If you're doing the hop, you're going to land on your flat feet, firmly landing on the heels. Let's do a side stomp and other way. Different hip muscles involved. We'll stay to the center and legs out. Stomping as far as you can and legs back in. And a little cool down. And go ahead And let's take a breath in, a breath out. And we're go ahead and pick up the wands. If you have one, it's really a good workout with or without the wand. So we're gonna just go ahead and bend the knees, stick the seat out, so you still have a flat back, and bring your hands down towards your knees. You'll have to clench the belly a little to keep the back flat. So it's going to be like this. And then to activate the back muscles, we're just going to reach out to the front. So we kind of end up with that reach and that flat back, so your back muscles are forced into contraction. And then we'll row, pulling this in, and a little pressure on the rib cage, pulling the elbows back and reaching out, and pull the elbows back and a reach, and pulling back and a reach. So we're really using the back muscles. It's larger back muscles are strongly associated, bring that to the knees, with better bone density in the back. Now we're going to curl, tuck the chin, pull the belly in. The back is no longer flat, but curved. And then arch the back, look forward, and then we'll pull the belly in, curl up, look towards your lap, and then let the belly drop. Try to arch the back and look forward, and then go ahead and reach out, and we'll stand up with the wands overhead, or else your hands overhead. And we're going to do a side lean to one side and the other side. So we have that wand. You can give a little pull with this lower hand, get a little extra stretch, just gentle. And your feet are about hip width apart, maybe a little wider, while we're getting that big stretch. Let's bring the wand down, and I want to put hands on each end, and we're going to work on the shoulders. We're going to just take the wand to the side and swing. Getting the shoulders moving in that direction. Let's come forward and go to the other side. And you could do this without a wand, just swinging the arms over to one side of your body. Okay, now we're gonna bring the wand. I have my palms behind the wand. I'm gonna hold on, palms forward, and we're gonna do some toe raises with the arms going up. So we'll bring this up here, and we're just gonna go straight overhead and come up on the toes. Try to pause and back down and straighten the arms. Bend the elbows overhead, going to the toes, back to the shoulders, and then straightening. So this is adding some challenge to those toe raises, seeing if you can be slow and controlled, and even pausing at the top of the toe raise. With the toe raise, weight towards your first and second toe, and ankles firm. And this way, you're strengthening the muscles, especially on the outside of the ankles. Pressing up, firm, straight ankles, and as well, working on balance. And we're going to change that. We'll turn the palms now facing down. And we're going to add a small lunge and do some overhead lifting with the toe raise. So we'll do a smaller lunge, and let's do some nudge. Okay, and then let's reach forward Let's lift overhead, and we're going to try a toe raise on both feet in this position, which is a good balance challenge. And we'll bring that down, a lift, and a toe raise, and just down to the knee, getting good shoulder motion, a lift, a toe raise, and down. And let's bring that foot in, and let's go ahead and we'll lunge forward with the opposite foot, a small lunge. So not the degree where we would be able to bring the knee all the way to the ground, but a small lunge. And let's do some impulses, which are very good for strengthening. Okay. And then let's come forward. We're going to go overhead, and then we're going to try a toe raise. It's mainly you're going up on your front toe and down, and a lift, toe raise, and down, and then a lift, a toe raise, and down. And then let's go ahead and bring that foot back. Then we're going to do, next will be a side lunge with the toe touch, a breath in and a breath out. And it's a side lunge, so you may want to come a little to one side. And remember, side lunges are never too big because you want to shift your weight over. And what we're going to do is stick the seat out, chest forward, and we're going to try to hinge right at the hips and touch the wand to the toe. Then we're going to come back up and then push the hips forward to get that return to normal, and we'll step in. And we're going to step out to the same side, bend the knees, seat out, back mostly flat, touch your toe, come up. And when you get about halfway up, think of using the seat muscle on that leg that stepped out to push yourself the rest of the way up. We'll do one more. Out, hinge at the hips, down to the floor, a lift, and back in. Now let's step out to that side, and we'll just step back over. Now we're ready to lunge the other way. So that's stepping out to a lunge. Shift your full weight onto that leg. We'll bend down to the toe. Use your seat muscle to straighten that hip. And we'll come back together. And we'll lunge out again. Really stick the seat out. Let the chest come way forward. Halfway up, start using your seat muscle to straighten. One more down. Seat way out behind you, chest forward, touching the foot. And then halfway up, use the seat muscle to come up. And let's go ahead and a breath in, a breath out. And we're going to go ahead and set these aside now. And let's get the bench. And we're going to put the bench so the end is toward your screen. So we're going to move a chair. We're going to kind of stand off of the back corner of the bench and then take a step back. So you have 20 or 30 inches between you and the bench. And you have a chair right here off of the other corner of the bench where you can use it if you need it, because we're going to do a lunge to the bench. So we're going to take this foot that's closest to the corner. So if I'm on the left side of the bench, I'm using my right leg. Or if you're on the left side of the bench, use your right leg, or vice versa. So we're just going to do a forward lunge onto the bench. And go ahead, shift your weight onto that leg. And then we're going to bring the back leg up. So we have both legs on the bench, or both feet on the bench. Then the same leg you started with, in my case it's the right leg, I'm going to do a back lunge. So the chair's there if you need it, but we're doing to the ball of the foot, a nice big step. And we'll kind of get some stability with dipping a little. Now I'm going to bring that front leg back. So this leg leads always. It's going to lead to the front and lead to the back lunges. So let's take your lead leg forward. We'll lunge with a bent knee, and then we push our whole body weight up to that bench. Take your lead leg again, back lunge, and come together. So now you have your chair. Let's try. So you can see if you can just do lunges on the floor, or you could be doing lunges on a bench. A lunge forward, leg up, lead leg now goes back, together, front, and a lift, back, step down. A front, and a lift, and back, step down. And then let's go to the other side. So the chair will go toward your other side. And I'm going to come to the back corner if I'm using a bench and step 20 or 30 inches away. I'm going to use my foot that's closer to the bench to lead me forward. And I'm going to get a firm landing, bend the knee, and then when I lift this leg forward, I transfer all my weight to the front. Now my lead leg is over here. I'm going to step back and bring that leg down. So I'm always leading, first of all, to a front lunge and lead leg to a back lunge. And leading forward, lean on the leg, and then lifting up. Lead leg goes back and coming down. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. And let's go ahead. We're going to move the chair to the front. We're going to leave the bench like it is. So this time you have a place for your hands in front of you. And I'll move my chair so you can see what I'm doing, but you could leave your chair right here in front of you. And here we'll start out to the sides, and we'll practice our side movements and lunges. So this time we'll do a mule kick with this. So it's a step and a kick back and floor, floor, step, kick straight back, and floor, floor. So we're working on the seat muscles. Bench, kick back, floor, floor, a bench, kick back, floor, floor. So now we can transfer to these muscles. We'll do a side kick. Step, side kick, floor, floor, a step, a side kick, floor, floor, step, side kick, floor, floor, and a step, side kick, floor, floor. So let's take a breath in and a breath out. And one thing we've been practicing quite a bit because it takes a little more skill is the side lunges in relationship to the bench. So let's go ahead, step one foot kind of further out, side lunge. Okay, and then let's bring this foot up and over. Let's take that foot back and coming back. Let's take this foot over. Let's come back. And this time a fairly big lunge. Over. Good. Okay, now we'll bring the trailing leg over the bench. And we'll use this leg now to go back, get that full lunge position. The chest is forward a little, seat back, and over, and a lunge. So now we're getting, those, I can see those with the bench are getting a little more accustomed to stepping over the bench. It looks more fluid. Good. A breath in and a breath out. And we'll circle the shoulders back. And we're gonna set the benches aside. Grab your wands again. And we'll get our chairs. Get ready for sitting in your chair. So we'll come to the front edge of the chairs. Okay, we have the wands here. So we're going to try a front lunge from this position. So the wand, if you have one with a rubber tip, the rubber tip would go down. If you have one without a rubber tip, you just have to be aware it could be a little slippery if you're on a hard floor rather than a carpet. But anyway, we're going to use the wand as a little assistance as we lunge forward. And we have the wand here, or if you don't have a wand, you could, if you have anything else, if you want to move over close to a wall or a table, anything that could help you. And we'll see if we can lower down and raise up and lower down, just using your wand only as much as you need it. So a light touch, if you can get away with it, and then we'll come back together and we'll lunge with the other leg. So that nice lunge forward to a flat foot. Wand there, you might need it a little more the first few times you lower. We try to keep the chest up, shoulders wide, looking straight ahead, and we'll lower, see if that knee will go to the floor with a light touch, and then we'll come back together. Go ahead and bring the wand to the front. Kind of be careful of any furniture or your neighbors. We're going to widen and widen. And then go ahead and put your hands about shoulder width apart or your hands in front of you. Widen your feet to about hip width apart and try to keep the knees equally separated. Stick your seat out, flat back. We're holding the wand out and we'll lower and come up. And let's see if we could bring the wand overhead. And then we'll stick the seat out, and this will be, take more leg strength. Make sure your chair is where you know where it is. Take a look. You can check with your hand that your chair is close, and we'll lower and come up. Arms overhead. You could also pull your stomach working harder and lower and come up. And let's come down, and what we're going to do next is a few bounces from the chair. So just down, down. So just that, fatiguing the thighs, really using the core muscles to come up and down. And let's separate the legs, a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to fall to the floor. Bringing the wand to the toes. And now we're going to take the wand in a full circle from here. So go ahead, straight arms, wand to the side, overhead, to the other side, and to the floor. As a type of core exercise. This is your midsection that's controlling your upper body. So we're moving slowly, really requiring, let's go the other way, a lot of strength of the midsection. And one more, out and around and to the floor. And then before we set the wands aside, we're going to slowly move your fingers forward with the wand until you can't go any further. Then lift your arms, reach toward your screen, and then use your back muscles to come up. We'll turn to one side and the center. If your shoulders are bothering you, you would just lower the wand. If your shoulders are okay, you can go overhead as we twist one way and then twist and twist. Go ahead now. We're going to come up on the heels. So I've lifted my toes on my heels here, and I'm going to rest this if I have one, kind of in the crook of my ankle there. But you can do this completely without a wand also. I'm going to come to the front edge of my chair, and I have this wand balanced across the front of my ankles, and get clear of the very front edge, so because we're going to do some abdominal work while we're holding the wand here. So go ahead, bring your hands across your heart, lift so the trunk is straight and your back muscles are working. Squeeze your belly, and then we'll slowly lean back, and we'll come up and lean forward. So one thing to kind of focus on is the front of the ankle and the shin as we straighten the back and lean back. So these are the endurance muscles for walking. Then make sure you can lift your toes after you've gone a few miles. And we'll lean back and lift and lean forward. And this time we'll go back. So remember the clenched belly. We'll go back and stay back. And then we'll bring the hands down and we'll go ahead and straighten both knees. And we're trying to keep that wand balanced there. And then we'll use the belly breath, and we're going to lift the legs just 4 inches. So straight knees, flexed ankles, a breath in through the nose and let your belly inflate. Compress the belly to breathe out. And then we get that 4-inch lift. So your belly muscles are lifting your heavy legs. Usually that's 70 pounds of leg. And then we're going to try to flex and point in the ankle. So kind of pedaling, point one foot and then the other while keeping that wand in place. And we'll slowly lower. Let's do another breath in through the nose. Let your belly inflate. Try to use your stomach muscles to push the air out. And we're going to lift again, and we're going to try to rotate the toes out, touch your heels, rotate the toes in, touch your toes. Rotate the toes out, touching heels, rotate the toes in. So working on some of the hip muscles with that, and then we'll lower. And a breath in, using the arms, and a breath out. And now recenter your wand if you can. Trying not to use the hands. And we're going to bend the knees. So we're still leaning back. And we're going to tighten the belly by clenching the muscles. For the neck, try to jostle the head. We're trying to keep the neck relaxed. The best position is with your head nodding forward a little bit to keep the muscles relaxed, but we just want to use the belly, but not the neck. So clench the belly, keep the neck relaxed, and we're trying to try to lift both knees and slowly lower. Clenched belly will help prevent any back pain. So clenched back or clenched belly, and we're going to lift and lower, and a lift and lower, and then we'd like to lift high enough to grab the wand. Okay, let's straighten the back, straighten the arms, and we'll do a sit up, and go ahead and put your wand to the side. Yes, we're done with that, and we're going to move on to some pleasant pleasant music in just a minute. Let's go ahead. While we're sitting up, let's put the legs apart. We'll bring the arms out and we're going to lean over and hug each leg for a back stretch. So we'll give a little turn, lean over, let your head just fall on that leg. Wrap your arms behind the leg. Give a small hug to help stretch your back. Keep leaning, arms wide, and then use your back muscles to lift. And we'll lean over to the other side and then hug. And then bring your arms out straight to the sides and use the back muscles then to bring you up. And a breath in and a breath out. And while we have these wide knees, hands here, clench the belly, we'll lean back. Grab your chair, and we want to just let the knees fall to one side. You can let your hip come up if it needs to. Getting some rotation in the hips and even rotation in the back. Kind of a relaxation after all the leg lifts. And over to one side and over to the other side. Then we're going to come to the front, and feet and knees now about as wide as the hips. We're going to bring the hands to the front corners of the chair very firmly and kind of straighten the arms to hold the front corners of the chair down, because we're going to put the weight on the back of the chair and lift the hips. So, and really pushing your belly toward the ceiling, really having to use the seat muscles and the hip muscles to push you up, and we'll slowly lower. So we're doing this with a lot of strength and control to really get some full contraction of the muscles. So a lift now again, really contract the seat, really think of pushing the belly toward the ceiling. And then coming down. Let's go ahead, let's separate the legs, bring the arms here, clench the belly, do another sit up. Let's drop the hands to the thighs, and we'll keep moving forward with a flat back. And then pull in the belly, tuck your chin, curl up, and unroll. And again, leaning down, flat back, and curling up, and unrolling. Okay. So we're going to get ready to use some music and have some pleasant movement with music. So we are going to start out with hands like this and do with the music. When we add the music, it'll be an exercise with these muscles that crisscross in your abdomen. And we'll be turning to one side and turning to the other side. So we have a straight back. And you look with your eyes also. The shoulders are turning. And you're using your trunk muscles and your back muscles to get that upper body to rotate. So very muscular. And then we can relax with an arm fling. So we'll straighten an arm, have your eyes, watch your hand as it goes all the way behind you and back to the front. And we'll go to the other side. So the arm moves kind of fast. Fling it back and forward, and flinging it back and forward. And we'll move the hands down. We're going to straighten the leg fully. This leg on the floor kind of pushes down to help support you so your back stays straight. It's not like this. It's with a straight back. And we're going to bring the leg out and in. So a very muscular movement with your hip and your stomach supporting the full weight of that leg. Your back muscles having to contract strongly to keep your shoulders up. And then we go to a relaxation. The ball of the foot, knee out, keeping the hip mobile and pivoting out. So this is just sliding and gliding of the bone in the hip socket. Let's go to the other side, ball of the foot. Always a straight back, shoulders wide, heart lifted, stretching the inner leg, touching the knees together. Feel your stomach even contract. Getting just a very healthy movement for the hip. And down. Now let's do a foot movement. And then I think we'll be ready to go with the music. So the foot movement, we'll do toes, heels, toes, heels, and then we go in. Heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, and heels, toes, heels, toes. Okay, and let's go ahead. We'll do a breaststroke. Take some good breaths with that. Sitting, when you reach forward, go ahead, bend at your hips. Kind of get a full back stretch. Then we'll go to each side and a side. And let's try a side tap reach. A side tap reach. So the side bends aren't so difficult, but they really are strengthening throughout the trunk. But also just so good to have the rib cage bending and allowing the lungs to stretch and move. Okay, so let's go to, we're going to sexy French music. So feel free to ham it up. Sometimes I spoke as pretending you're very sophisticated French man or woman walking down the street. So we're going to start with a shoulder circle on each side, and then both together. Back, a breath in. And we'll go to that twist. Twist, twist. Really using the trunk muscles. Now for the stretch. Fling the arm back, front, and back. Each side again. Watch your hand. Watching the hand. Hip straight. Out. Touch the knees. Out. Back straight. Switch. Out. In. And out. And now we're going to do the stretch. Out. And touch your knees. Out. And touch. Other side. Out. And in. Out. Now we're going to be doing those feet. Out, 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 in. Out, out, out. Heels, toes, heels, toes. Getting a nice hip stretch and some coordination. Pedal in your wrists. So flexion, extension. Now we're going to lean back. A little break for the trunk. We're going to swing and swing to straight knees and pedal in the ankles. And then out, in. Getting back to some hip movement. Reach and back. Reach and wide. Wide. And now this time, arms stay to the side. Over, touch, reach, over, touch, reach, over, touch, reach. Nice big side bend. Touch, reach. Okay, and then we'll get ready for a breath in and a breath out. All right. In a moment, we'll be going to the weights and lunges. So whether you have weights or not, I advise everybody stick around because there's a lot of lunging involved, which is particularly important for bone density of the hips. Doing a few more core exercises here. Yeah, we'll bring the arms up, backward, elbows circle. Really good for strengthening. And let's speed it up. You feel a little fatigue in those muscles. Let's bring that down and let's circle the shoulders back. And then let's circle the face. So it's like you're drawing a circle in front of you with your nose. And we'll go the other way. Okay, and then we'll do one deep breath. If you're not going to stay, do 5 deep, vigorous breaths. But it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we're going to be standing with the weights. Okay. You know, we never took our shoes off. If you want to take your shoes off now, if you like to do that for this part, feel free. Okay. So we're going to start with a little warm up. So I'm holding my weights again, fingers behind and thumbs around the front. And I'm going to start with a little knee bend and arm swing. Kind of a loose, you can tell when the muscles are not really in control here, not getting all that much strengthening, but getting some warm up, especially of the joints. And then I'm going to change that. I'm going to do a little side to side, just small. Again, I'm using the knee bend, getting a few different muscles and joints. And then just straight to the front, I'm going to do some short, fast movements like we often do without weight. So it's real important. Lift your heart, shoulders back and down, and I'm just bending at the elbows alternately, building some endurance in the biceps. And you usually feel this right in the front of the upper arm, which is where the biceps is, moving a little quicker than usual. And again, relax, a little knee bend and a swing. And we're going to bring the arms forward, elbows 90 degrees. And we're going to bring the arms out, then hands forward. And as we bring, I'm going to bring the hands up. I'm going to kick back with one leg and then close the elbows back together. Out, down. I'm going to kick back on the other side and bring my hands back together. So it's like a 1, 2, we kick on the 3, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, last 1, 3, 4. Okay. And then, whew, we're going to circle the shoulders back. So that's a combination of the biceps and the rotator muscles in the shoulder. And we're adding that kick back for the knees and the back of the leg. Now, we're going to just turn the palms forward. And we're going to do toe raises again, only now we're adding some weight with the toe raises. So we're going to do a biceps move, just palms forward, right to the shoulders, up on the toes, and slowly down. So we're trying to be very controlled. Up, working on balance, and down. So focus on tight seat, contracted thighs, firm ankles, weight in your feet toward the first and second toe. Back up in the body, wide shoulders, slow release, and up on the toes, a little pause, and down. And again, some backward shoulder circles. And then just holding the weights, we're going to go ahead and bend both knees. And what we'd like to do is kind of sink a bit and keep your heels down because we're looking for a stretch in the calf. We've done a lot of toe raises today, and we like to go down and nudge to get the stretch in the calf. I can definitely feel how nice that feels to stretch after all those toe raises. Okay. And now we'd like to do a front lunge. And so I'm going to back up so I have a little more room for a front lunge. And we're going to do something called the lawnmower. So we'll do a front lunge to a flat foot. And we'll bend both knees. Check to make sure you still see your front toes with that. So I look at my knee, make sure I can still see my front toes. I'm bending both knees. And I'm going to take on where my back leg, I'm going to take that weight, reach it right down to my ankle, and then I'm going to pull my elbow up to the ceiling and straighten up. I'm going to reach down to the ankle, I'll pull up, and reaching down and pulling up. So the whole body can twist with that, getting those muscles and that pull of the elbow up. It's going to be great for the upper back, and to pull and to reach and to pull. And of course the lunge, now we're going to step back, your feet back together. It's good for the hips and the leg strength. Circle the shoulders back, getting some breathing. And now we're going to step forward with the other leg. Front lunge, bend both knees. Check to make sure you see your front toe. This hand just kind of hangs, but on the back leg side, we're going to use that arm. Reach down toward the ankle and then lift the elbow back. Reaching down and a lift and a reaching down and a lift. So strengthening the core, the thighs, flexibility going down. As you lift up, your seat has to also work, lifting the body up and a lift. And let's go ahead and step back. Let's take a breath in, a breath out, overhead. a breath in, a breath out, coming down. Breath in, a breath out, a breath in, a breath out. And then we'll go ahead, we're just gonna bend the elbows at 90 degrees and hold them that way. We're gonna slightly bend the knees. And we're gonna do an exercise that's mainly through the seat and the hamstrings. So we're gonna let our seat stick out. We're gonna bend down. I think I'm almost to 90 degrees. And then we're just gonna straighten up. And bend down. As you straighten up, contract your seat. So the focus is that straightening up with the seat contraction when you come fully up. So seat can go way out, come up, contract the seat. Let's do 3 more of those. And as you do that, try to keep your neck not twisted, not looking up. Seat contraction with coming up. Okay. And what we have left is a back lunge. And we'll do some overhead work with the weights. So you'll want to come forward where you have room to do a back lunge. We're going to come back to the ball of the foot. So reaching back, and we'll just bring the weights up to the shoulders. And what we're going to do as we dip, elbows forward instead of out, there we go. As we dip, we're going to push up. As we come down, we'll raise a little bit. So a little lowering and raising. So really working that lunge overhead and a raise and overhead and a raise. And let's switch. Other foot to the back. Straight body. So now the body's not leaning forward at all. And then as we bend and dip, we'll go overhead. And then we'll raise a little as we lower. Elbows stay forward. So elbows forward and pressing up and lowering. Dip and press up. And there. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll bring that foot forward. Whew. Circle the shoulders back. And let's do a swing, loosening, holding the weights, and getting a full benefit of this kind of swinging movement. So the shoulders stay wide. You're really standing up quite tall. Yeah, so we take advantage of that movement. Okay, and let's go ahead and put the weights down. Let's open and close the hands firmly as we do backward arm circle, both arms, opening and closing. Let's bring them out to the sides. And then relaxing the fingers, let's circle in the wrists. Twice one way, twice the other way. Let's bend the arm, touch your opposite shoulder, and then bring the other arm underneath. And use this arm that's underneath to give a pull of that elbow across your chest for a back stretch. And then straighten that arm that you're using for a stretch. And bend. And we'll go to the other side, touching the shoulder, the other arm coming under and behind the elbow, so you, and then give a pull. And go ahead and straighten that arm. And then bend it. And then we'll release. And then let's go ahead and we'll get ready for our 5 deep, vigorous breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. So first, extra wide shoulders, pull the palms back and palms face forward. And we'll do fairly quick, vigorous breaths. And circling back.